You know what time it is?
Is it time to sound the alarms?
You hear that? Hold on. We haven't heard it all year, but hold on. I think I might.
Hey.
It is, folks. It is time to sound that upset alarm meter. I don't know. Upset alarm,
That's what we call production, folks.
Yeah, there you go. Time for upsets. Who we think has a chance to outright upset as an underdog, and you got to be at least underdogs of 4 points. You want to start us off here?
Yeah, I've got one right here that I want to give
Okay.
out. I hope I'm not stealing your thunder here with this one, but it's again anybody over 4 points. So I'm gonna be a little bit of a cop out here because this one's 4.5. But I'm gonna put South Carolina on upset alert against Diego Pavia and Vandy, the Doors.
Yep.
South Carolina off that huge emotional win against Texas A&M at night, just like the week prior. A&M won a big game at night against LSU, then had to go on the road and play South Carolina, and they lost.
You called this one before they even played A&M.
Agreed. I said it's South Carolina. Well, I think I texted you and Cole, and I said can't wait for South Carolina to upset Texas A&M. Huge game, storm the field, all that ended up happening. And I said, and then they got to go on the next week to play the absolute king of being an underdog role, Diego Pavia. He's won 4 games straight up this year as a dog already. Did it again last week on the road as a 7.5-point dog at Auburn. And now he's getting 4.5 points at home, and Vandy's getting 4.5 at home to South Carolina. So I'm putting South Carolina on upset alert. I think it's just a great spot for Vandy to pull off an upset here. I might even have Vandy plus 4.5 against the spread. I guess I probably should if I'm putting South Carolina on upset alert.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my first. I don't have it as a best bet yet, but I think it's a great spot to try to fade South Carolina here.
Okay. What else you got?
And my other one is Virginia Tech. I'm putting Clemson on upset alert in Blacksburg. Okay. I think Virginia Tech has the goods to be able to upset Clemson. If they can slow down the run game at all, and Phil Maffa in this run game against Clemson, I think they can win this game. Okay. And I think that Clemson's going to have a tough time dealing with the overall attack of Virginia Tech's offense with Kyron Drones being back.
Okay. I'm going to put Iowa on upset alert going out to the Rose Bowl on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern kick. I think they're 6-point favorites. All the metrics and everything tells you that Iowa, should easily cover this number. I mean, I think they're 10 or 11 on a neutral field. Like, that's just, UCLA kind of is getting it dinged for a lot of their early season metrics, but they played really well in the past 3 games. They lost a close one to Minnesota by 4 at home. They went on the road. They beat Rutgers, and then they went on the road and they beat Nebraska. And now you got Iowa traveling from Central Time Zone to Pacific Time Zone. Big Ten teams when traveling from Central or Eastern Time Zone to Pacific Time Zone are 3-8 against the spread this year. So just something to note when you see the Hawkeyes and the Bruins lacing them up on Friday night on Fox. The second one I have is the team that just keeps playing with their food all season. They're ranked number 4 in the CFP rankings. That's the Miami Hurricanes. I really want to see if Haynes King is going to suit up or not. Everything I'm trying to read online, it looks like he's maybe practicing a little bit, but just nothing has been shown for sure. Miami against Georgia Tech since 2017 is 1-5 against the spread. I think they're favored by 11 in this game.
Yeah, 11.5. It's kind of flirting back and forth.
Yeah. And we've seen them go on the road to Cal and not play well. We've seen them play Duke at home and not play well. Virginia Tech, they were favored by more. They didn't cover that. For Georgia Tech, on the other hand, obviously they've struggled with Zach Pyron at quarterback, but they're 5-1 straight up and 5-0-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games dating back to last year. And they're 3-1 straight up and 3-0-1 against the spread at home versus teams above 500. Only straight up loss in that time was Georgia last year by 8 points.
Yeah, right? Going into the Louisville game at Louisville, I want to say that Brent Key was undefeated against the spread against ranked ACC opponents.
Yeah, he's solid as an underdog.
Yes. Not a bad pick.
Just watch out. I mean, every year, November, creeps up on us, and you get some ranked teams that are losing. So
Yeah, not a bad pick there.
Could be some upsets. So, all right, time to get to best bets. I've already mentioned I've got Indiana minus 13.5. I'm sitting on Ole Miss plus 4.5 from a couple weeks ago. I took Texas Tech plus 4.5. I took LSU plus 3, and I took Virginia Tech plus 6.5. I'm going to add Vandy plus 4.5. You just mentioned them. Vanderbilt 6-0 against the spread as a dog this year. Diego Pavia at home, all that. South Carolina coming off big win last week, going on the road. It's a no-brainer for me. And then the last one I'm going to play is Kansas plus 3. Kansas is 2-6. Iowa State just lost their first game last week. 2-6 team should be a lot bigger underdogs than 3 points against a team that's 7-1, ranked number 17, right?
Yep.
Kansas State, I think, is like 0-5 in one possession games. They've had a 2-week break since almost beating Kansas State 2 weeks ago, losing that game on a last-second field goal. Lance Leipold, as a home underdog in his career, 16-7 against the spread. And I know it's wishy-washy this year with Kansas because they're playing at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yep.
I just think that they've played a lot better since the beginning of the season. Jalen Daniels is playing a lot better. They've got a good ground game that I think can really test Iowa State. So I'm going to take the Jayhawks plus 3 as a home dog. A couple of others I'm thinking about. Duke plus 3.5. It's plus 3 right now, minus 110. You can get them at plus 3.5 and minus 120 at FanDuel. I think it should be closer to a pick 'em. Somehow Duke has not played bad this season. We saw him be up by 11 against Miami last week. This might be Manny Diaz's best coaching job of his career so far as a head coach, with everything that Duke lost and how, I mean, I think we took him under, right? We look stupid for that. I mean, it's just, it's crazy what he's done. And NC State, obviously they played well the past 2 games. I don't think they've exactly lit the world on fire, and they haven't played. I mean, they played Stanford and Cal, right? So Duke is right there in the triangle. They don't have to travel far. Catching 3.5 points as a road dog, I think they're worth a look. And then I think Arizona State, you can get them at minus 2.5, minus 120, but we'll see where it goes. They're favored over UCF right now. Sam Levitt at quarterback. They've won 3 in a row in the games he started. They lost at Cincinnati when Jeff Sims started. Do we really trust Gus Malzahn to go all the way to Tempe and actually put up the fight? I mean, I just don't know if I can trust the Gus Bus doing that. We're talking about teams traveling from the Eastern time zone all the way out west.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. So I'm thinking about Duke plus 3.5, thinking about Arizona State minus 2.5, and then, all the other ones I listed. So it is now your floor.
I'm with you on Kansas, man. Plus 3. I like the Jayhawks in this game. You alluded to it. They've been playing good football. They've lost a bunch of one-possession games against some solid football teams. And we just talked about how good Houston's been playing the last few weeks. They beat Utah straight up. They beat Kansas State straight up. They lost 40-something to 14 against Kansas on their home field.
Yep.
And Kansas went last week and followed that up, like you said, on the road in the Little Apple in Manhattan against a good Kansas State team a couple of weeks ago and played them off their feet. So they're playing good football right now. Kansas was supposed to be good going into the year. I love what you said about the run game for Kansas. They've got 2 legit tailbacks. Jalen Daniels, good, running the ball as well. Love Leipold. Love both of these coaches. But Iowa State has not played very well the last couple of weeks, their last couple of ball games. I mean, they struggled against UCF at home. They should have lost that game against UCF at home.
Yeah.
And then they backed that up by losing to Texas Tech.
That scares me a little bit that they're coming off a loss and they kind of want to, Matt Campbell will get them right, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't. Obviously, the line tells you that as well. There's just not a lot that separates these 2 teams. I'm with you on Kansas plus 3. I've already given out Texas minus 21 as one of my picks as well, and I'm going to do it, man. I've got two here that I just saw lines popping up. I'm going to take Utah plus 3.5. I talked myself into it, man. I'm going to take Utah. This is my Kyle Whittingham's last stand for the year game. I think that, I don't know if they'll outright upset them, but I think either way, this game is coming down. This will be like a 17-14 type of game. Lower scoring, defensive war between these 2 teams. The holy war, baby. Late Saturday night Exactly. I love saying that. You know I do. And then I'm taking Indiana minus 14. There's some 14s out there. I'm going to do it.
Let's go.
Maybe Michigan steps up. I don't know, but I think that everything that you see between these two teams and all the metrics that you see and the matchup between the two teams, I haven't seen anything that tells me that why is Indiana not going to do what they've done to every other single team that they've played this year in this game. So I like Indiana minus 14. The others that I'm looking at, I am absolutely going to have Ole Miss on Saturday, whatever the line is. If this injury report is what I think it is, if it's a complete troll joke like thing that Lane Kiffin's doing, I will bash him next week on this show for doing that. But I will have Ole Miss on Saturday against Georgia, if it's closer to a pick 'em or whatever the line is, if the majority of their players are healthy. But that's really Boston College -2 at home against Syracuse was another one that I was looking at. And James Madison -16 at home versus Georgia State is another one I'm looking at.
G5 lands.
That's right. Got to take a little bit more of a look into that one, but that's just simply because this is Georgia State's 4th straight game on the road. 4th straight. And James Madison's coming off a bye. And they're one of the best teams in that conference in the Sun Belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to take a little bit of a deeper dive look into that. I might be able to get on board with Virginia Tech with you. I might be able to get on board with Vandy with you. We may have a lot that we match up on come Saturday. Again, go follow us on X at Always Talk Ball. And every Saturday morning around 10 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m., 10:30 Eastern, Tyler and I release our best bets for the day. And so we'll do that again on Saturday. So, yeah, that's all I've got right now.
Well, we appreciate you guys listening on Apple, Spotify, watching on YouTube, all that stuff. If you've made it this far in the episode, please hit the subscribe button, follow, like, whatever. Share with your friends. We love it. And enjoy Week 11. Like I said, we're 1 week or 1 month away from Selection Sunday. So not that much further to go, which means there's not that much football left. So enjoy it while you can. Week 11 is going to be good. We'll be back on Sunday night / Monday morning to talk recap and just talk ball. That's what we do. But until next time.